Howdy, 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 my name is Anachi Sasuke, and welcome back to Let's Read the SCP Foundation Wiki. Apologies for this episode not happening on Wednesday like it was supposed to. Life happened. But I wish it had happened on Wednesday like it was supposed to, because pretty sure that the entry, Haunter in the Dark, gave me a nightmare. Like, straight up, gave me a nightmare, because since it doesn't say, well, it does say how it kills people, but I had a dream, I say dream. It felt like it was set in Stranger Things, except I've only seen 2.5 episodes of that show, so I don't know why it was set in Stranger Things. Where there's a creature that no one was allowed to see, and the only way to be safe from it is if when you went to bed that night, you covered yourself completely, and if any part of you was exposed, it would freaking eat you! So it ate me, and I woke up mid being eaten in pain from like the rib cage to the neck from where I got eaten at, and it was messed up, and I blame this website. That being said, today we're going to be starting with The Coward's Way Out, and then go up to Revives the Colors, Naughty Stalker, All the Time in the World, and Eels! So let's check out A Coward's Way Out. Better not be Keter. Okay. It's rated Euclid reclassification to safe pending confirmation from Foundation Intelligence that redacted. One instance of 691, which is 0, is to be stored in a safety deposit box within the Foundation archives inside blank. Any other instances are to be destroyed following confirmation that they are identical to 0. Access is restricted to Dr. Blankety Blank and her research assistants. Following Incident I-1, secondhand recordings of 691 are prohibited unless permission is granted from a member of staff with level 5 clearance. Please see investigation logs for details of standard experimental procedure with respect to any instances of 691. Okay. There are currently 15 identical instances of 691 that are or have been under Foundation control. SCP-691 is a plain blue cassette tape on which is printed Pure Escapism, limited edition, one of only 250. One side of the tape contains a short foreword by an unknown male introducing a piece of music. See addendum A1 for further details. On the opposite side, Aquarela do Brasil, using S.K. Russell's English lyrics, can be heard. This particular version is played by a modern symphony orchestra with an unidentified lyric tenor providing the vocals. Should be noted that the foreword will always be played first regardless of which side of the tape is entered into a player, and both pieces will always be played from the beginning. The foreword is harmless and has yet to be linked to any of the effects of 691, aside from encouraging the listener to turn the tape over. Subjects listening to the musical piece have reported visual, auditory, and tactile hallucinations along with a sense of relaxation and well-being. However, it is unclear whether this is due to the nature of the hallucinations or if it is one of the tape's cognitive effects. Hallucinations have always been described as benign by listeners and have not been cited as a direct cause of any psychological trauma. Even though hallucinations vary, they have shown some consistency for repeat listeners. Subjects are allowed free access to 691 will eventually become capable of doing little more than listening to the tape repeatedly, and several extreme cases foregoing food and drink to do so. Regular listeners who are denied access will not show traditional withdrawal symptoms. Instead, they will show difficulty in acknowledging visual or oral stimuli. In a few cases, subjects have either refused to or been unable to acknowledge any external stimulus. Addendum A1, transcript of 691's foreword. Hi there. If you're listening to this, then I can assume that life has got the better of you. Things didn't work out the way you wanted them to, did they? Sometimes it's bad luck. Sometimes you're the cause of your own ruin. Or maybe it's just that you're going nowhere. I'm not one to judge. Everybody has regrets, it's perfectly normal. You don't have to lie to yourself, but I'm digressing. So I'll get to the point. I've got some good news for you, sir or madam. I can offer you a way out. No, it's not suicide. You and I both know you don't have the stomach for that unpleasantness. I'm offering you something so much better besides. All you have to do is flip this tape over, close your eyes and relax. Think of somewhere nice. Think of the good times. Think of those things you always wanted to do. Now I can't promise that I can give you these, but what I can promise is this. On the other side of this tape you'll find an escape from your own personal train wreck. Enjoy. All further study on 691 is to be focused on identifying traits associated with its use as per Dr. Blank's instructions. A request has also been made to study the effects of secondhand recordings of 0 at various volumes approval pending. Foundation Intelligence and an attachment of MTF Alpha 2 are working to identify and retrieve any other instances of 691 that may be available to the general public. So, first let's see what the incident was. Dr. Persons involved. Profile. Dr. Blank was a reliable and conscientious Foundation employee. His work on SCP Blank and SCP Blank has been of great use to the Foundation. Testimony from Dr. Blank's wife revealed that Dr. Blank was in substantial financial difficulty around the time of the incident, although it is uncertain whether or not this was a contributing factor to Incident 1, which I assume is what I-1 means. Report. Enters the cell and begins, the subject D9125 and begins, INV 30? Concludes his investigation and its 25 is removed from cell for termination. Reviews the dictaphone and transcribes recording. Data expunged. Security footage of shows Dr. Blank exiting Site Blank. Gatehouse security reports that Dr. Blank cited a personal errand as his reason for leaving. 6910 is reported missing by site security. Security footage is reviewed and a retrieval team is scrambled to Dr. Blank's home in accordance with Foundation missing object policy. Retrieval team finds no trace of Dr. Blank despite a thorough search of his home and the surrounding area. His credit card statement shows that he bought a personal cassette player from a secondhand shop in blank blank at around this time. Dr. Blank is reported as a missing person by his wife. Local police department are authorized to conduct a search under Foundation supervision. Standard cover story blankety blank blank blank. And it appears to be 6 months later. His body is found near blank blank. Zero is recovered. Responsibility for Zero was given to Dr. Blankety blank. Afterward, post-mortem showed that the probable cause of Dr. Blank's death was hypothermia brought about by exposure. The body was found with a personal cassette player containing Zero. Foundation leaked standard cover story blankety blank blank, and the local coroner's court returned a verdict of accidental death as a direct result of this, citing Doctor's fragile emotional state as an exacerbating factor. Agent Blank's report stated that Dr. Blank's death was an indirect result of data expunged. The report did, however, mention that Agent Blank believed that Dr. Blank's life could have been saved if he had less knowledge of Foundation missing object policy, and suggested a review of non-classified information for non-security personnel. All three of Dr. Blank's research assistants have since been subjected to full psychological evaluations and have been transferred to projects where cognito hazards and percepto hazards are not involved. Okay, so close that, open that. Standard procedure for investigation involving 691 is as follows. Subjects allowed free access to Zero are to be provided with a soundproof, fully furnished cell. Foundation staff entering testing cell to wear ear defenders. Subjects listening to Zero under a member of staff supervision are to do so through headphones. All prompts from Foundation staff should be nonverbal. NB, following incident I-1, Foundation staff must wear ear protection when any instance of 691 has been played, regardless of the circumstances. Sound recording equipment must not be operated whilst any instance of 691 is playing, and only written accounts from test subjects are permitted. So, seems to be an interview of some kind. Procedure. Standard experimental procedure followed. They were to listen to both sides in their entirety and were to give a verbal account of their experience. There was nothing unusual whilst listening to the forward, whilst listening to the reverse side, describes how the colors of the room have become more vivid and likens Dr. Blank to something like out of a cartoon. D1 reports a feeling of complete peace. Subject appeared to take great pleasure in how Dr. Blank was always smiling, although Doctor reports that this was not the case. D1 requested further access to 691, request denied, classified 05 players required. 10. D7. Standard experiment blah blah blah, allow free undisturbed access to it, record experience via written journal. And his first entry describes green pastures and a cool breeze. This followed by a rambling discourse on his feelings of his newfound freedom. The second, third, and fourth continue in a similar vein, describing the sights and sounds of what appears to be a rural Switzerland, and involving several more sides on various subjects, including freedom, atonement, and forgiveness, each entry being of deteriorating quality. The fifth was illegible, and D7's last. Dr. Blank requested that 10 be ceased at 1427 on blank by blank, citing that no more useful information could be yielded. 15. D12. Standard procedure followed full access for 72 hours. After this period, denied access. Daily interviews were conducted. Report. Reaction was similar to those of the previous investigations. Doctor hypothesized that 12's reaction to deprivation would lead to textbook withdrawal symptoms, and said they encountered considerable difficulty when interviewing the subject. 12 was not responsive to the doctor's questions. Other than requests for access to Zero, they were uncommunicative. A scan of their brain showed minimal response to visual, oral, or physical stimuli. An MRI scan taken whilst 12 was listening to Zero showed signals consistent with external stimuli, along with a strong reaction originating from the nucleus accumbens. I wonder where that is. Known as... okay. Or formerly the nucleus... okay. A region of the basal forebrain rostral to the preoptic area of the hypothalamus. Right there. So it's behind the eyes, apparently. Disposable 25. Standard procedure followed. Doctor requested a subject with a generally high quality of life, a background free of alcohol and drug abuse, and lacking traits generally associated with an addictive personality. They were acquired via data expunged and subject to a series of psychological tests and a precursory interview to gauge mental well-being and a confirmed background. Subject was to listen to 0 and give a verbal account of their experience. No formal report compiled. Transcript of their account is as follows, translated from redacted. Okay, I hear a man speaking. I can't understand what he's saying. Sounds like English? He's finished now, but... do you want me to... Okay, doing it. There. I hear music. I don't recognize the tune, but... Can you see this? It's a city. It's how I imagine redacted would be, but, well, till those border security people caught us. Elaborate? You mean you can't see it? It's beautiful. Shining skyscrapers, everything's just gleaming. This is the redacted my brother told me about in his letter. This isn't like a city back in my country, Doctor. You'll have to see this to believe it. I can stay in a place like this for the rest of my life. Subject begins to hum, ignoring Dr. Blank's prompts. Tape ends. Again. I want to go back there again. No, I don't want another medical exam. I want that money you promised me, and I want that tape! Well, they're probably not going to get that tape. Well, that was 11 minutes for the first entry, wasn't it? Revives the colors. It's safe. 692 in its original packaging as procured by the Foundation. I wonder who made these. I want to say the factory, but maybe no. What the hell? An instance of 692-1 observed at the house of blank blank. The nucleating article were the trousers. Each package of 692 is to be stored in a sealed plastic container. Any cloth, synthetic, textile, or other coming into contact with 692 is to be incinerated within an hour of incident unless it is used for testing, in which case it is to be incinerated after testing. Security personnel present at testing are to be equipped with standard issue gas-based flamethrowers. So, SCP-692 comprises 57 packages of Weiser Reese washing powder secured by the Foundation from a general store in Blank Czech Republic. I thought it was candy. Apparently it's not. And several households nearby. All of the packages belong to the Blank Blank production series. Chemical testing reveals no statistically significant deviations from composition with respect to Weiser Reese washing powder of unaffected production series. When an article of clothing exposed to 692 comes into uninterrupted contact at least 15 minutes long with a living, multicellular organism within following 4 to 15 hours, the article, here referred to as 1, will spontaneously animate. 1 at this stage will show the contours of the imprinting organism, although bisection of several instances of 1 have revealed that the inside of such contour contains air at ambient pressure. Through an as-of-now unknown mechanism, 1 is capable of locomotion, manipulation of objects, and at times, accretion of more articles of clothing into its mass. Furthermore, 1 with a single nucleating item will behave as a single entity, even if there is no physical connection between the items. The accompanying photo document. The mode of behavior of 1 depends on the length of exposure to the imprinting organism, longer times resulting in a higher quality of stimulation. Approximately 3 hours of uninterrupted contact is sufficient for the imprinting of most mammals. 1 are unaffected by most mechanical damage, and as such consideration is the recommended method of disposal. Test log. Okay. A half meter by 0.3 meter sheet of cloth on a house cat. No effect observed after 10 hours, cloth is incinerated. Once again, house cat. 15 minutes. 2 hours after impregnation, the sheet has wrapped itself as if enveloping the body of a house cat of equal size to the impregnating agent. 1 showed no traces of animation. Cutting resulting 1 into several segments produced no adverse effects. 1 was subsequently incinerated. House cat, 3 hours. 1.5 hours after impregnation, the sheet has wrapped itself as if enveloping the body of a house cat of equal size to the impregnating agent. Resulting 1 has exhibited behavior consistent with that of the impregnating agent. When presented with a live mouse, resulting 1 appeared excited and proceeded to capture and kill it. 1 isn't adversely affected by machine washing, though doing so appears to anger it. This instance of 1 currently resides within the office of researcher somebody. A standard D-class jumpsuit. The 835 with 25-year-old white male, 3 hours. 2.5 hours after impregnation, the jumpsuit appeared as if filled with a human body. Resulting 1 became active when approached, slamming present technician into a wall and attempted to escape the test room. Resulting 1 failed to escape as its lack of digits didn't allow for manipulation of door mechanisms and was subsequently incinerated by security personnel. Okay, I don't know how they thought that was going to go, but that sounds about right. Naughty Stalker. It's Euclid. It used to say, as all instances of 693 are considered safe, researchers involved in testing may keep any instance of 693 in their office. Now it says, after incident 693A50, all instances are to be returned to Regulation Containment Locker 12CK when not in use. As of incident 693E, all instances of 693 have been reclassified as Euclid. Are either of those incidences in here? Oh yes. That they are. As such, each instance of 693 is to be kept contained in a separate steel containment box, measuring 25 by 25 by 25 centimeters. Each containment box is still to be stored inside Regulation Containment Locker 12CK. When testing on 693, it is imperative that only hair from the head of the subject be used. At no point should any researcher directly access 693 when it is in an attuned state. All hair should be removed from 693 by the D-class involved in its testing before it is returned to researchers. Description: SCP-693 is a series of 18cm humanoid dolls, each one made from a single strand of string with beads of onyx for eyes. How big are they if they're made from a single strand of string? Several instances of 693 have varied forms of clothing, from string shirts or pants to cloth headbands and hats. The clothing appears to have no effect on the properties of the doll. New instances of 693 are found with an instruction sheet attached, the contents of which are detailed in Addendum A. It reacts as a normal string doll until such a time as a piece of hair from the head of a still living human being is placed in a loop of its string, a process referred to as attunement. For reactions to having hair from a deceased individual, you see Addendum B. At this point, the doll begins to move of its own volition, betraying the current actions of whoever it is attuned to. 693 also projects all statements made by said individual as if it were them. The doll reliably portrays all actions and speech of the attuned individual for a period of 9 days. After 9 days, the doll becomes unreliable both actions and speech. Depending on the color of base string, the doll will seek to drive its current owner in this case referring to whomever placed the hair on the doll, not the attuned individual, to his death, by inaccurately depicting the actions of its attuned individual. Colors and actions are as follows. Red seeks to anger its owner into increasingly violent fits of rage. Blue seeks to send its owner to bouts of depression, leading to suicide. Yellow encourages owner to engage in acts of unreciprocated lust. Black encourages his owner into increasingly dangerous situations. If an instance of 693 is successful in causing the death of its owner, a new instance of 693 will be found on the owner's body. The Foundation currently has in containment 7 red instances, 10 blue, 5 yellow, and 1 black. Addendum A. Transcript of an included instructions. Congratulations on your purchase. Apologies, I briefly read ahead and... Congratulations on your purchase of a genuine Naughty Stalker. Do you love someone but they won't give you the time of day? Do you wish you could hear what they say about you behind your back? Well, wonder no more. Use this fantabulous product. You can keep track of your loved one's every move, their every word. All you have to do is get a single hair from the head of the object of your desire, slip it under a loose string in our Naughty Stalker, and see what you're missing. Another wonderful product brought to you by the motherfucking factory. So, Addendum B. Concerning the use of hair from dead people. When hair from a deceased subject is used to attune an instance of 693, the doll no longer passively represents actions taken by the attuned. Instead, it purports to be the deceased, acting as a guide to the owner. Again, at the 9-day mark, it becomes unreliable, attempting to ensure the death of its owner. Incident A50. On blankety blank, Director G left 2 instances of 693 in his office. Director G had recently been the recipient of 50. What was 50? Is this the doll that just reappears to other people's, An hour after leaving his office, the director was summoned back by security due to a smoke alarm being triggered inside his office. Upon entering, the director found 50 on his desk, beside an ashtray which was found to hold the ashes of both instances of 693. The ashes have been crafted to spell, "You're welcome." As of this incident, instances of 693 are not allowed to be left in researcher's personal space. Incident E. On Blank, junior researcher West returned an instance of 693 to the proper containment locker. He had failed to properly remove the hair from the doll. When the locker was next opened, all instances of 693 within were gathered around the attuned doll. Said doll had been crucified upside down against the wall of the locker. It is unknown where the SCPs acquired nails. Addendum C. After leaving a camera inside the containment locker, it appears that instances of 693 become mobile when not directly observed. While no further outbreaks of violence occurred, an unattuned instance of 693 have been shown to go through the actions of the last 30 minutes of the life of their most recent owner. At this point, 693 has been reclassified Euclid and will be locked in separate containers inside the container locker. Incident P! On blank blank blank, researcher Cole attempted to have 693-4523 attuned to 693-R12 using a pubic hair from 693-43. The SCP began to move as normal, then stopped. It tilted its head downwards for approximately a minute, then raised its head to look at researcher Cole. 693 is reported to have said data expunged, at which point a cleanup crew was sent to the testing chamber. Researcher Cole has been reassigned to medical for psychiatric care, and the two class disposable dudes were terminated ahead of schedule. I wonder what happened there. Addendum D. Multiple requests by several mobile task forces have been made to use 693 in conjunction with anomalous object 1115 to allow for increased spying capabilities against persons of interest. Requests are currently in review. Paper pusher. I don't particularly feel the need to read this. What is it related to? Twisted Pines. Well, if anybody thinks I should go back and read Paper Pusher, let me know and I'll do that at some point. Otherwise, it doesn't seem very important, but that brings us to all the time in the world. Well, it's Euclid. Redacted, Vermont, January 5th, 2005, 7:23 in the morning. Okay. The neighborhood that 694 occupies has been evacuated with a cover story of industrial contamination and is to be kept sealed off. Homes have been purchased from their residents and used for the establishment of observation sites known as Site 48 Extension Security Post 694. All routes that lead to the chase between 1 and 3 and 4 have been closed off with personnel stationed to reroute drivers away from the anomaly. MTF Zeta 10 Time Travelers are to stand guard and provide assistance to have public awareness of 694 removed. Foundation personnel assigned to 694 are to record each iteration of 694. Description: 694 is an externally observable time loop that has been cycling every 38 minutes since November 23, 2004, in the town of Redacted, Vermont. 694 contains the events of an attempted kidnapping and armed pursuit followed by a car crash in a ravine alongside Redacted Road. It occupies 4 spherical regions of space, each of which is approximately 5 meters in diameter, centered on one of the 4 participants in the loop, 1, 2, 3, and 4. As they repeat their original trajectory, beginning at the resonance of 1 and 2, and terminating at the bottom of the ravine alongside Redacted Road. Although personnel have been able to enter 694 and add and remove objects, there is as of yet no known way to affect the events of the loop. See experiment log for details. Where am I? Loop participants do not respond to non-loop stimuli, e.g. the presence of Foundation personnel, either as observers or experimenters, and can be assumed to be unaware of any and all non-loop events. When forcibly removed from the space within the loop, participants will continue to repeat the actions of the loop to the extent that is physically possible, and will die when the loop reaches its terminus. Autopsies have thus far not indicated any identifiable cause of death. Participants in 694. 1. Identified as local resident Alexander Lang, age 52, Caucasian, listed as widowed with no immediate family apart from 2. No records have been found of 1's existence prior to his arrival in Vermont. 2. Unidentified local resident Philip Lang, age 6, mixed race, son of 1, mother unidentified. Records have been found of 2's existence prior to his arrival and no records have been found. 3 and 4. Unidentified kidnappers. It says, although 3 and 4 refer to each other as Jake and Elwood, they are believed to be pseudonyms, as Jake and Elwood is the protagonist of the 1980 film The Blues Brothers. Wielding empty handguns, reported stolen November 15, 2004. The event. Should probably read the event. 1 emerges from his residence and watches 2 play with various toys on the front lawn, so it's like 3 a.m.? He then tells 2 to put away the toys so they may go to the supermarket. 3 and 4 vehicle, 2002 Dodge minivan black, reported stolen. 2004, bearing the license plate of a 1999 Volkswagen Jetta, reported stolen in 2004. Barrett pulls into the driveway. 3 and 4 emerge from the minivan and hold 1 and 2 at gunpoint. 3 ties up 2 and forces him into the backseat of the vehicle. Meanwhile, 4 ties up 1, takes 1's cell phone and crushes it underfoot. They drive away with 2 as their prisoner. 1 struggles to his feet, then hops into his garage and knocks down a hacksaw. He rubs against the blades so as to cut the ropes holding him. Once he has freed himself, he takes a pistol from the tackle box. Meanwhile, 3 and 4 drive into a neighborhood but become lost. Notably, although the kidnapper's dialogue at this point seems to indicate that they are encountering multiple spatial anomalies, no such anomalies have been observed by Foundation personnel. Rather, the kidnapper's vehicle abruptly changes direction on several occasions and drives through multiple non-road areas, including a school, playground, a farmer's market, and a public park. 3 and 4 drive past 1's home just as 1 is emerging from the garage and loading his pistol. 1, 3, and 4 recognize each other. 1 opens fire on 3 and 4's minivan, then gets into his car and drives after them as they flee. 1 pursues 3 and 4, firing at them repeatedly. Analysis of 3 and 4's dialogue during this stage indicates that they are no longer consulting the map. Instead, they are driving down random streets in an attempt to escape 1. As the pursuit continues along Redacted Road, 1 shoots out the minivan's left tire just as the minivan is driving over a patch of ice. The minivan spins out of control, goes through the guardrail, falls over the ledge and into the ravine. 2, 3, and 4 are killed on the fall. 1 parks his car, gets out, and climbs to the bottom of the ravine. Once he has reached the wreckage of the minivan, he pulls open the driver's side door and shoots the bodies of 3 and 4 in the head, once each. 1 then carefully extracts the body of 2 from the wreckage and examines the body for life signs while weeping. 1 then pulls out a notepad out of his back pocket, draws an intricate pattern on its chalkboard backing with a stick of chalk, and speaks to the pattern. Transcript of 1's speech. It's me. I want a repeat of the last 38 minutes. No, a full repeat. You heard me? Well, make it happen, damn it! Exactly like it just was! You fucking owe me and my boy is dead! Several seconds pass. Good. This apparent conversation finishes at time index 37:15. At time index 38, 1, 2, 3, and 4 all dematerialize as to both vehicles, and all bullets fired by 1. The chalk on cardboard designs have not been found to manifest any anomalous properties. So what's their transcript? Transcript of the conversation between 2 and 3 and 4. Microphones and cameras are placed within the vehicle at the onset of the loop event. Superfluous dialogue redacted. Full transcript available on document K11. Jake, I got the kid, hurry up! No, Daddy, help! Lang, message for you. Nobody walks away. You got the map? You got the map? I don't know this area. Yeah, hold on, there's one in the glove compartment. Daddy! Kid, if you don't shut up, I'll give you something to fucking cry about. Weeps more quietly. Superfluous dialogue redacted. Which way do I go? Arrive at intersection. Go down blank street. I want to go home! What's out of breaking glass is heard. There's 2 streets that say that! This has not been observed to be the case. The fuck? Just go left, turns right. I said left! That was a one-way street, and there was a cop! This has been observed to not be the case. Dad! The sound of breaking glass heard. Kid, shut the fuck up! Damn it, if you fucking piss yourself, there's another intersection up ahead. Which way do we go? What? That's not what the map says? Damn it, let me see. We missed the turn off at blank, so we should still be on blank. We are on blank, right? The street sign says blank? What? We should be on the other side of... Fuck it, I'm calling in. Reaches under the seat, pulls out a cardboard flap with an intricate pattern drawn in chalk, speaks to the pattern. This is Jake, we're lost. No, lost! L-O-S... The fucking street names are wrong. How should I know? No, that's not what you said. You said... No, look. The fucking map's wrong. We keep getting turned around. How do we get out of here? Jake? Jake, the stop sign just disappeared. Shut up, Elwood. I'm talking to... No, he said a sign disappeared, but... Okay, fine. No, look. Damn it, the stop sign's over there on the right. Don't be a dumbass. I want my daddy. You sounded breaking glass hurt. Shut up, damn it. No, I was talking to Lang's kid. I'm sorry. You know I'd never... It's okay. Elwood, the highway over there on the right. Take the on-ramp turn, damn it. Which right? The vehicle turns left. I want to go home. Sound of breaking glass. Hits 3. What the fuck are you doing? I said go right. I did go right. Video surveillance indicates that 3 had, in fact, turned the steering wheel right. However, the vehicle went left. Superfluous dialogue redacted. 3 and 4 turn the corner and arrive at 1's residence as 1 is emerging from his garage and loading his gun. Wait, is this Lang's house again? Oh shit, he's loose! Gun! The rest of the conversation consists of 3 and 4 fleeing from 1 and it's largely obscenities. After the terminus of the loop, 3 and 4's vehicle dematerializes and the recording device falls to the ground where it can be recovered. Testing logs. Yeah, I don't think we need to read the testing logs. Although it looks like something in the testing logs. Except for 1's, which was not within the loop. I don't know. It's probably referring to his chalkboard. See, co-authored Euclid Loop SP Temporal Vehicle. So it's not, doesn't seem to be tied to anything. Now it's time for eels! And they're safe. They don't look safe, but they're just eels. So the problem is safe because they're just eels. Units of 695 are to be contained in freshwater tanks with no more than 10 members in any single tank. All water used in containment tanks is to be from an enclosed system separate from any outside system, with all water used being added manually to the system as needed. Tank seals are to be checked daily, with any sign of leakage, wear, or attack being immediately reported to site security and repaired. Staff working with or around 695 or the containment area are to be in full hazmat gear at all times. Staff physically handling 695 may do so only in 10-minute increments, with a 30-minute break for examination and observation. Staff failing to clear examination are to be removed immediately to quarantine. Any 695 colonies found outside of containment are to be immediately sterilized. Any and all subjects found to be harboring 695 are to be entered into quarantine for observation. Subjects found unsuitable for testing are to be sterilized. SCP-695 appears to be a form of hermaphroditic parasitic eel. It's a lot of icks. 695 has a multiple-stage life cycle that uses human beings as its primary host. Because of course it does. Investigation has shown that 695 may be the result of genetic tampering, with several aspects of its physiology, behavior showing evidence of natural evolution, and several genetic sequences matching those of 1238, 1340, and 1821. 295 is capable of sustained survival outside of a host, but will seek out a host whenever possible, appearing to rely primarily on smell and electromagnetic sensitivity. It's another ick. Juvenile 695 are between 3 to 5 and 5 centimeters long, not to and, with an average diameter of 0.5 centimeters and resemble the adult form but with fully translucent skin bones. Adult 695 are between 10 and 15 centimeters in length with a diameter of 2 centimeters. Adults have thin, angular heads with several needle-like teeth and flat eyes in line with the head. They have several hook-like fins down the length of their body and can use these for both aquatic and land-based movement, as well as anchoring inside the body. 695 has a set of 6 glands along the spine, capable of emitting several enzymes and complex molecular compounds that mimic, there's another ick, chemical signals. There's another ick, mimic. Okay, these chemicals have a marked effect on human nervous system and are capable of blocking and replacing conscious nerve impulses. The correct combination and dosage of these chemicals is still under investigation, but initial tests have shown that these chemicals can short and redirect actions. Examples: subjects will make a conscious effort to raise their hands but will instead stand up. These chemicals metabolize within 10 minutes without constant injection and are untraceable by modern medical equipment. The espionage and military applications of these chemicals are currently under investigation. Notes on recovery. It was initially recovered from Blank, Japan after reports of an outbreak of worms reached local media. The primary colony of 695 was found to expunged fresh water. It appeared that the colony was attempting to migrate into city plumbing and sewage systems, but was prevented due to the topography of the lake. 27 695, 4 male hosts and 1 female host were recovered for testing, and the rest were destroyed. Note: release of life cycle notes is restricted to research staff, those working directly with 695, and those above level 3 security clearance. But it's right there. You didn't even hide it in a little drop-down box. I feel like you should have at least hid it in a little drop-down box, if it's that important. Juvenile 695 exists free swimming in freshwater lakes and streams. Juvenile will attempt to enter the male human body when they are present in or around infested waters. They'll enter by the mouth, nose, anus, and urethra. Once inside the body, they will infest the nervous and reproductive system and begin gestation into the adult form. This typically takes between 2 to 3 weeks and coincides with the compromising of the nervous system. Infested subjects will begin to experience twitching, burning, intense thirst, light sensitivity, auditory and visual hallucinations, and increased aggression. Subjects will begin to experience a steady increase in libido, coupled with a swelling over the genitals. 695, after reaching maturity, will begin spawning within the body, with eggs migrating to the urethral canal after being laid. Genital swelling will progressively increase with the buildup of eggs, and cases of tissue rupture have been noted. During the spawning period, 695 will consume blood and nerve tissue from the host body. When it encounters a human female, it will exude several chemical compounds directly to the nervous system and bloodstream. They also experience a massive increase in both aggression and libido, which most often results in the violent assault of the female. Hosts will attempt to sexually violate the female subject, which will cause a release of 695 eggs into the female subject. Hosts will typically release 2 to 3 liters of eggs before breeding ceases. At the end of the breeding, adult 695 will begin to die off. Due to the necrotic tissue inside the host body and the loss of 695 created chemicals, the host will typically die within 24 hours of the final spawning. 695 eggs entering the female host will migrate to the digestive and reproductive systems. There, they will adhere and begin to gestate, hatching in 48 to 72 hours. Larval 695 appears long, thread-like worms between 4 to 8 centimeters in length and may be visible in stool or vaginal secretions. They will feed on tissues, blood, and other body components, causing internal bleeding, abdominal pain, and infection. The larva will reach juvenile stage after 72 hours with progressive swelling and extreme discomfort in the abdominal area due to both feeding and physical size increase of the 695. After 72 hours, or about 3 days, they will begin exiting the body. In many cases, the physical increase in size by the 695, coupled with the feeding, will cause the abdominal area to rupture. It will leave via the vaginal, anal, or oral openings if rupture does not occur. Emerging 695 will then feed on the female host for several hours before propelling themselves on their hook fence to any nearby body of water. They are extremely resilient in all life stages and are capable of indefinite survival in any environment present in the human body. Direct fire application has shown significant success in sterilizing both hosts and 695. Sterilizing. You mean complete destruction! That's what they meant. Document Scarlad 05 review. Due to several accidents involving 695 escape and infestation, further research on their physiology was ordered. Specifically, research was done on both the chemicals created by it and the nervous system of itself. It appears that when in groups of 15 or more, it experiences a marked increase in intelligence. It has a highly developed nervous system for a parasite, and appears that with a sufficient amount of individuals, a form of group intelligence is formed. All individuals will stay in very close proximity, most often balling into a single mass with chemical relays taking place over the skin. This mass is capable of emitting chemical and electromagnetic impulses that can affect the human brain and nervous system. These effects can also run counter to the directed will of the subject. These impulses appear to most commonly manifest as a desire to handle 695, enter or swim in the containment area, or ingest it. The obvious concern about this activity have led to an alteration in SCP and a change in research focus to the isolation and control of the chemical compounds involved. Communication tests have been met with limited success. While a form of will or ego appears to manifesting with increased numbers, the intelligence is difficult to interpret in human terms. It appears reproduction, feeding, and expansion are the primary concerns. There also appears to be a tendency for 695 to attempt to prolong its infestation of the human body, even when ready to spawn. It appears the electrochemical aspects of the nervous system communication in the human body induce pleasure in the 695. Testing is at this point ongoing with 2 sets of hosts scheduled for each spawning period. Current data shows that a new and more efficient method of cognitive alteration via 695 chemicals may be viable within the year. Yeah, so that about does it for this episode. In the next one, we'll be doing Abyssal Typewriter, Toxic Terraforming, Judgmental Turtle, and Mystery Box. Also, Graffiti Factory. Hopefully the Graffiti Factory is not as bad as the Factory. So, that about does it for this episode, and the next one, which will be happening on Friday, because I'm going to do 2 SCPs on Friday along with Lackadaisy, so I'll just have 3-3 instead of 4-2. So, if you liked it, a like to subscribe will be groovy. If you didn't, you need to do either one of those things, and I will see y'all in the next one. Later.